Welcome. Today is not just another lesson. Today is a turning point. Today you begin to speak like someone who thinks clearly, moves with purpose, and chooses words that carry weight. Today you learn English through stories, but not ordinary stories. These are stories that change the way you see yourself. They build identity. They build voice. They sharpen thinking. They sharpen language. If you want a quiet life that follows the crowd, this episode is not for you. If you want to be sharper, wiser, and more persuasive, stay with me. Listen, I will talk. You will listen. Then you will speak. Repeat. Practice. Transform. I want to open with one sentence you should remember all day. Speak because your thinking deserves a voice. Pause on that. Say it with me. Speak because your thinking deserves a voice. Repeat. Good. Keep it in the front of your mind. Story 1. The morning that changed everything. Picture a man named Raj. He had good intentions every morning. He woke up with plans, but his words were weak. He would mumble answers at work, apologize too quickly, and never claim space. One day, his company announced a big pitch. Raj decided he would lead the presentation. He spent the night rewriting bullet points into short, strong sentences. He practiced one line until he could say it clearly in the dark. On the day when the room heated up and people argued, Raj spoke once, slow, precise, with 2 short sentences. We test, we learn, we scale. That was it. 3 words, 3 actions. The room quieted. Decisions followed. A promotion followed. The world did not reward noise. It rewarded clarity. Language point from Raj. Short sentences, strong verbs. Practice this. Replace long, weak sentences with tight, strong ones. Example, instead of, I will try to improve our product by making several changes over the next few months, say, we will test, we will learn, we will scale. Repeat after me. We will test, we will learn, we will scale. Now say it twice, faster. Now say it once with emotion. Notice how short sentence rhythm creates authority. This is not grammar. This is power. Rule 1. Speak with purpose. Not to fill silence, but to cut through it. Use active verbs. Reduce I will try to I will. Say the verb, anchor it. Practice now. Think of one long sentence you use often and turn it into 2 short, powerful sentences. Speak it out loud. Now a second story. The night of confusion and the 2 questions. A young teacher named Meena had an argument with a parent. Meena left the room feeling crushed. She could have reacted, reply with emotion, defend herself, shout back. Instead, she wrote 2 questions on a sticky note. What exactly did you hear? What did I say? The next morning, she walked into the meeting and asked the parent, can you tell me which part made you upset? The parent explained. Meena responded with clarity. The situation diffused. Respect returned. Why? Because she chose to ask before she answered. Language lesson. Question forms. Short question patterns are your most valuable tool. Practice these. What do you mean? Can you explain that? Why do you think that? Repeat after me. What do you mean? Pause. Can you explain that? Pause. Why do you think that? Pause. These short question frames buy you time, show curiosity, and place you in control. T-back. Identity shift. People who ask in public are seen as calm. People who react are seen as weak. Form your questions before you form your defenses. Rule 2. Listen like a collector. Listen like someone collecting gold. When you listen, gather specific phrases. Repeat what you heard in your mind. Use it. When someone says, "I had a rough night," you don't say, "Me too." You say, "You sounded tired when you walked in." That small mirror sentence tells them you heard it. Mirror language is powerful. Practice mirroring now. Imagine someone says, "I felt ignored in the meeting." Your mirror reply, "You felt ignored in the meeting." Say it, then add a short question. What happened then? Practice both lines out loud. Story 3. Adaptability in a single act. A baker named Tomas lost his bakery rent and had to sell at the market. He could have closed shop. He learned to package, label clearly, and call customers on WhatsApp. He began offering weekend bundles. He changed the message on his flyer from "Fresh Bread Daily" to "Weekend Special, Fresh Bread Bundle." Sales doubled. Tomas did not wait for permission. He adapted and reshaped his language, his marketing language, and the world responded. Language integration. Modal verbs for possibility. Could, might, should. Use them to propose options. We could offer a bundle. We might change the price. We should test the idea. Modal verbs create flexible thinking in speech. Practice the modal line. We could test this next week. Say it slowly, then confidently. Add emphasis to the modal. We could test this next week. Use it in negotiation. Rule 3. Reframe resistance into possibility. Replace "I can't" with "How might I?" Repeat, "How might I?" This question opens doors. Practice now. Pick one "I can't" thought and reframe it to "How might I?" Example: I can't speak fluently becomes, "How might I speak more fluently in 5 minutes a day?" Now, a longer, rhythmic passage. Listen and shadow me. In the darkness before dawn, a few sentences can decide the day. Choose them, speak them, repeat them. Do not be passive. When you raise your voice, do it with intent. When you write an email, end with a call to action. When you speak in a meeting, end with "My recommendation is." That phrase is a sword. Try it. My recommendation is we test version A this week. Say it again. Story 4. Readers who change the world. Let me tell you about Arun and Layla. Arun read the headlines and felt informed. He repeated facts. Layla read deeply. She took 3 ideas, asked 2 questions, acted on 1. Layla's ideas landed. Aaron's sounded like noise. The difference is not speed, it's engagement. Read with a pen, write 1 question, teach 1 idea tomorrow. Use the 3-2-1 method now. Choose any paragraph. 3 ideas, 2 questions, 1 action. Practice speaking it aloud. Pronunciation break. Rhythm of transformation. When you want to be persuasive, stress content words. Try the sentence, "I will change." Stress the verb, "I will change." Now expand. "I will change how I practice English." Stress, "I will change how I practice English." Repeat faster, then in a calm voice. This stress pattern sends signals of confidence. Rule 4. Observe truthfully. Observation is not accusation. Observation is description. Say, "You avoided eye contact," not "You're lying." The first is evidence. The second is a claim. Practice observational sentences. Your voice tightened at that point. Your shoulders rose when the topic changed. You smiled, but your eyes looked away. Try them softly out loud. Do not judge, describe. Story 5. The Man Who Listened and Won. In a negotiation, a woman named Sarah listened more than she spoke. She repeated the client's 3 priorities back to them. The client relaxed. Trust grew. They gave her the contract. She asked 2 questions and said less. She had designed her speech around their needs. That is, influence, not manipulation. Influence through understanding. Language tool. Summaries and paraphrase. Use phrases. So, if I understand correctly. To summarize. In other words. Practice. Summarize the last 3 things you heard someone say in one sentence. Try it now. So, if I understand correctly, you want a faster prototype and a cheaper price point. Say it, then wait. Rule 5. Curiosity is a magnet. Curiosity is not naive. Curiosity is disciplined. Ask deeper questions. Ask, what if, instead of why not. Ask, what if we tried it this way? Practice, change, why can't we, into what if we. Repeat both. Feel the difference. Story 6. Emotion controlled, power gained. A leader was insulted publicly. He could have exploded. Instead, he breathed, named the emotion silently, anger, and asked, "Can we discuss this after the meeting?" That single sentence preserved respect. Emotional control is not suppression, it's management. Name the emotion first. I feel frustrated because. This phrase both discharges and constructs. Language exercise. Naming feelings and conditional language. Use, I feel emotion because reason. If we action, then result. Practice. I feel anxious because the deadline moved up. If we prioritize tasks, then we can meet it. Say it twice. Rule 6. Build a network of thinkers. Your language shifts when you are surrounded by higher-level talk. If you spend time with people who gossip, your vocabulary shrinks. If you spend time with those who analyze, your language grows. Invite one person this week to a deep question. What book changed your thinking last year? Ask them, listen, take notes, speak their answer back to them. That simple act builds connection. Now, a long, poetic, practical passage. Listen carefully and repeat each sentence after me to feel the cadence. You are not here to be loud. You are here to be lucid. You are not here to fill the airtime. You are here to fold your words into action. You are not here to be liked by every ear. You are here to be understood by the right ears. Repeat those 3 lines. Feel the weight. This structure, short lines, creates rhythm and authority. Use this in writing and speaking. Break your message into 3 tight lines. Practice them now with emotion. Story 7. The problem solver with a single screw. A factory stopped. Panic. A technician arrived. He tightened a single loose bolt. Production resumed. The money he charged was less for labor and more for knowing where to look. The lesson: expertise is pattern recognition. Invest in pattern language. Build phrases for problem solving. First we check. Next we isolate. Then we test. Finally, we document. Practice sequencing. Say those 4 phrases slowly, then with speed. Language practice. Sequencing connectors. Use first, next, then, finally, after that, immediately, subsequently. Make a sentence map for any small task. For example, making tea. First boil water, next add tea, then steep for 3 minutes, finally pour and enjoy. Say it aloud. Rule 7. Challenge your mind daily. Not for show, for growth. Read things that make you uncomfortable. Memorize a short speech and recite it. Debate both sides respectfully. Learn one complex word each day and use it 3 times. Use it in a sentence now. Choose the word nuance. When I listen, I try to notice the nuance in tone. Repeat it. Pronunciation. Stress on new words. When you learn nuance, stress the first syllable. Enju, A-N-S, such, or new, my ends. Say nuance 3 times slowly, then in a sentence. Story 8. The network that multiplied success. 2 founders. One worked alone and repeated mistakes. The other built a small group, shared issues, and received fast feedback. The group's language raised his language. The group replaced "I think" with "we tested" and "we found." And that shift changed investor conversations. Collective language becomes mutual authority. Language habit. Replace "I think" with stronger phrases when appropriate. The data shows. Our tests indicate. We observed. Practice by making 3 sentences from your last message using "the data shows" as a starter. Rule 8. Solve the root, not the symptom. When children fight about a toy, you can take the toy away. Symptom solved. Or you can ask why they fought. Root found. And teach sharing. Root language includes cause verbs because due to, as a result of, leads to. Practice linking cause and effect. Because the shipment was late, production slowed. As a result, delivery date slipped. Say it twice with clarity. Now a longer monologue to practice shadowing. Repeat after me sentence by sentence. When the storm hits, the sea gets restless, but the navigator studies the map and checks the instruments. He does not curse the weather. He adjusts the sails. He trims the course, small correction after small correction. Repeat the 4 lines 3 times. Feel the rhythm. This is how leaders speak. Story 9. Curiosity rewarded. A student asked why traffic lights are timed differently. The teacher smiled and said, "Find out and tell us next week." The student measured, noted, and discovered a pattern. Rush hour timing. He presented and led a small community plan to stagger school departure times. Curiosity led to action. Language tool. Research verbs. Measure, record, analyze, present, recommend. Use them in a sentence. I recorded 10 days of traffic and analyzed peak times. Say it aloud. Rule 9. Turn learning into ritual. Small consistent habits beat sporadic heroics. 10 minutes every day will double your skill in a month. Make language a ritual. 5 minutes shadowing a speaker, 5 minutes reading aloud, 5 minutes writing a reflection. Make it sacred. Practice block. Do this with me now. I will give you 3 exercises. Pause the audio if you must. Exercise A. Shadow. 2 minutes. I will read a 30-second paragraph. You repeat immediately after me, matching pace and emotion. Paragraph. Today I chose to listen. I asked a clear question. I wrote one action. I followed through. Repeat twice. Exercise B. Speak. 3 minutes. Speak for 3 minutes about one problem you solved this week. Structure, setting, problem, action, outcome, reflection. Use sequencing words. Record if possible. Exercise C. Vocabulary drill. 2 minutes. Choose 3 words from this episode. Improvise, nuance, adapt. Make 1 sentence for each and speak them with stress on the content word. For example, I had to improvise when the meeting changed. I noticed the nuance in his tone. I learned to adapt quickly. Now, long closing story, the future voice. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. You practiced daily. You breathed before speaking. You replaced filler with short, strong sentences. You asked 3 deep questions in meetings. You solved 3 problems by isolating roots. People stop you in halls. You sound different, they say. You smile. You know exactly why. You trained the voice of thought. You trained the thinking that deserves a voice. Final language checklist. Speak these lines out loud and own them. I will speak with purpose. I will ask before I answer. I will adapt without losing myself. I will read to transform, not to finish. I will observe before I judge. I will be curious daily. I will name my emotions and manage them. I will build a network that stretches me. I will solve roots, not symptoms. Repeat each line once, then once louder, then once softer. Now an immediate action for the next 24 hours. Record a 1-minute story using the structure we practiced. Setting, problem, action, outcome, reflection. And post it or send it to someone who will give you honest feedback. Include 2 target words from today and 1 modal verb for possibility. Example: I could improve by practicing 5 minutes nightly. Speak it, record, send. Before we close, a final pronunciation anchor. Say slowly and powerfully. I will practice. I will improve. I will become. Now faster. I will practice. I will improve. I will become. Now with feeling. I will practice. I will improve. I will become. Keep that rhythm. Carry it. This episode has been long on purpose. To let ideas land. To let language settle. To let repetition cement identity. If you felt the energy rise, write down the most powerful sentence you heard. Make it your morning line. Speak it before you check your phone. Let the line rewire your day. You are not born smart. You are built smart. You are not born eloquent. You build eloquence by choosing words that match thought. Today you have the blueprint. Now practice it. Live it. Speak it. Become it. If this touched you, if it moved something inside, subscribe and stay with this series. Next episode, we will take one of these rules and live inside it for a full week of practice. Minute-by-minute coaching, templates, and scripts you can use tomorrow. Stand up, breathe deeply, and say aloud your one-sentence commitment for the next week. Make it short, make it strong, and make it true. Go, speak, become. I'll see you next time.